Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So I know I should be getting going on these Festool pull-out cabinets because that's what we milled up last. But I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I figured out in one of these cabinets all my HVLP stuff is going to live. So I whipped out a couple of quickie trays. These are literally just offcuts from making the rails and the stiles and the doors and a piece of 3/4 plywood. I'm going to put them on a set of glides in there and of course get my distance right and all that, so that my HVLP will have a home in the new shop. It has a home in this shop, but it's totally inconvenient. So I'll probably switch gears a lot during this whole build as things strike me and I decide where something needs to live and I've got a storage solution. I'm probably gonna jump into that. So, and that's what I'm gonna do tonight, is go ahead and get a cabinet up here and get these slides put in, and I'll show you that as we go. Okay, so this bottom set of glides can sit right down on the bottom and it'll fit just fine that way. When I go to put the tray on, the matching strip, it'll go on the bottom of the tray, so it'll have a natural lift off of the bottom of this and should slide nicely. Okay, I'm just going to line this up and get my pilot drill in. And again, I'm trying to hit the plywood on here, but I'm still going through the hardwood, so I want the pilot drill. And just like that. Works well. Okay, so I got my HVLP hose in here. I like that. And then I've got a couple of spacer blocks here. They're about a little over 4 inches. And that's where I'm going to set my next set of glides, so my machine will sit on top of that. So mount these glides, and then I'll install the tray just like I did this one, and I'll show it to you when I'm done. Okay, so that's going to do it for now. I'm still going to come up with something better for my guns, because I plan on adding another gun, maybe even 2. So I'll come up with something, and I'm thinking another slider up here for the guns will get it. But for now, I'm going to live with this and, you know, just test drive it for a little while and see if there's any changes I want to make. But right now that just makes my HVLP stuff so much easier to get at, and I like it. So let's get on to those Festool cabinets. Okay, time to get back to the Festool pullouts. Unfortunately, I don't have enough plywood, so I can't get them all done today. But I had enough scrap so I can get a mock-up put together and work through how I want to do my pulls on the front. In the old ones, my pulls came short of the front, and I've always disliked the way that looks, because you can see the glides. It would make more sense to get it out over the glides. At least mostly there'll have to be a little gap there so it's not hitting the edge of the case, but we should be able to cover most of that glide. So I am going to notch these, but I'm going to set it up as such that it covers the whole glide, and then I'll slide this all the way over. This also means I'll have to set back the glide the amount or the depth of the rabbet that I cut in this piece of wood. So I got a couple lines marked on here, and that's what rough setups are for. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this grooved and maybe mount one of these in an actual case, so I can take a look and make sure everything's functioning right before I commit my setup to everything. Okay, so I've got the dado stack set up in the saw, and I've run a test piece to make sure it fits the plywood good. Everything is great there. I also made an extra drawer front, or pull front if you will, for the Festool pullouts, so I can test on this. Everything looks to be lined up just right. I have the depth set at about 3/16 or so, and I left that setting on here because that also is how far back we're going to have to set the drawer glide on that plywood to account for this. So I'm going to make this cut and then go back to the pullout and see how we did. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that fit and the way it lines up on that glide. The right-hand side there, of course, would be the top. So I'm going to go ahead and set that glide back the appropriate distance, and then maybe install it in one of these cabinets and see how it looks. Okay, so there's a little bit more calculations that go on for mounting the slide itself in here. For starters, I've got a 1/4-inch spacer pushed up underneath it. I also have to account for this front, or this thickness on material right here. So I've set my square to that, and I'll hit that setback. And that should account for both the thickness and this bottom portion. Should come out just about right and leave me a little clearance on the bottom. So I'll get these mounted up and we'll do a dry fit. Okay, so I've just got the drawer front set in there for reality check. I'm liking that a whole lot better. You don't see the glides from the front of the case, which I think is just awesome. I still got to dog ear the corners or do some roundovers and that kind of stuff, but I'm getting pretty close to being able to set up all the machines to push out all of those pulls all in one time. Okay, so there's the little dog ears on the corner, and I think I'm going to leave it at that. I was thinking maybe some more decorative stuff, but you know, I think that'll be sufficient. I'm going to go ahead and get that glued and pin nailed on so that we can start playing around with how the actual Festool cases fit in and which ones are going to go where. Okay, I apologize for the sun coming in that window, but there's that first Festool cabinet. I've decided this is going to be for the dominoes. So it'll be my intention to have, you know, a little bit of overhang on my top, not a lot, but I'll be able to easily still get full extension out of this. Because I put longer glides in than I really needed, I had a lot of extra space back here. So I just put some longer glides in, got a better pull out, and it just works wonderfully. And just like the other cabinets, I went ahead and added pulls. So all the Festool pullouts will have pulls. Okay, so there's all the cases built. Again, this is just for the bottom. I haven't even started any uppers yet. And everything is in. That last cabinet down there, which I'll show you a little closer here in just a second, that's my room for growth, if you will. So I popped a couple of drawers in there just so they weren't empty, and I'll utilize the space for now. If I get another Festool item that needs to go in there, then I'll pull those drawers and adjust accordingly. But obviously there's no saw stuffed in there yet, and the refrigerator cabinet's not there. It's in another part of the shop. It's done, it's ready to go, but my shop just isn't big enough for this miter bench. The new shop will be. So let me take you down. I only did organization in one drawer, so I'll take you down and show you that next. Okay, so this top drawer in the end of the cabinet is all the parts and bits and pieces that I have for making jigs and toilet bolts for T-track, etc. So I just cut some of the leftover 1/4-inch material and half-lapped them so I could create the grid. Popped them in the drawer and started filling it up. It's quick and simple organization to go that way. Okay guys, so we're going to call that a wrap for this video. I've started cutting the strips for the base, but I'm not going to actually build any bases until I physically get the cases in there and decide exactly what I want for layout and all that stuff. I did go ahead and get some leveling feet. So just in case that new concrete slab isn't level, I can level it up as I need to. So next up, we should be actually physically putting this in the shop. So until then, take care, guys.